I think Jacinta just created an organization that could potentially replace the Human Rights Commission. Um, so basically, she registered, I think, two organizations. One is going to focus on basically called litigation, basically, and the other one is going to focus on empowering South Africans. So the one that's going to focus on litigation is basically it's going to be called the South Africa First Forum. I think it's going to be called the South Africa First Forum. It's going to be doing exactly what AfriForum has been doing for white people, but it's going to do that for black people, which is what the Human Rights Commission was supposed to be doing. And the fact that they are so hated by South Africans illustrates that they haven't been doing that, right? And even if, when you look at the history of cases they've handled, it's either white people for the most part, and the black issues that they've taken to court are useless issues that I feel like do not affect the majority of South Africans. Let me not say useless. Maybe there's a group of black people that it affected, but generally there aren't many cases that you see the South African Human Rights Commission taken to court that affect the vast majority of South Africans. Like when we start speaking about illegal immigration, they tell us we are crazy. They are not the reason for overcrowdings in hospitals. They are not the reasons. They are not like the main reason for criminal activities. And it's kind of crazy. How do you even determine that if they are undocumented, right? My dad was shot, right? And they basically said it wasn't the ammunition that was used was not from a gun that came from South Africa, right? Like, I'm an ordinary South African and I've been affected by that. But they were telling us, nah, man, like, it's not them. You guys are crazy. The queues in the hospital, nah, it's not them. They're taking the jobs, no, it's not them. And then nearly 100,000, if I think it was more than that, illegal immigrants left, and they are like, I mean, they are now quite, which is honestly irritating. So I genuinely hope Jacinta does an exceptional job so that we can petition for the funding that goes to the Human Rights Commission to be redirected to South Africa First, the forum, because the Human Rights Commission at this point, at the very least from where I'm standing, I don't feel like it serves any people. Like, if they said that the Human Rights Commission was dissolved tomorrow, it wouldn't affect my life in any way, shape, or form. Because so many South Africans' rights have been violated, and I can't recall even one person who says, "Yo, my rights were violated. I went to the Human Rights Commission, and here's the situation," right? And even in general, their issue, or rather their function, should be to identify issues that affect normal South Africans, especially the majority of South Africans, which they somehow are ignoring. But it feels like they haven't been doing that. Maybe I haven't been paying enough attention, but from where I'm standing, from what I've seen, from the little research that I've done, it doesn't feel like, especially black people, it doesn't feel like black South Africans are their priority. And it feels like we will get to a point whereby now there's Igbo Kuhle, who's the president, and once that happens, open borders is going to be a possibility, because once that happens, it's going to be nearly impossible to even fight that, because they will have someone in power within South Africa, right? The laws are meant to protect the country. If the laws are not being enforced, then the Human Rights Commission, which is supposed to prioritize the rights of South Africans. Right? We're not saying Hore, allow everyone to be treated in an inhumane way. If it's inhumane, then you call it out and you do something about it. But do the amount of effort you put into holding South Africans accountable, do that for South Africans as well, so that there's a balance. But at the very least, the outrage that is in the country shows that the balance is not there. The balance is not there. Like, the majority of South Africans don't feel represented by the Human Rights Commission. So I hope Jacinta does such an exceptional job that the funds can be redirected to this particular organization, because it's going to be prioritizing the issues that are faced by South Africans, particularly black, the majority black South Africans, and I'm sure black they also include maybe coloreds and basically like those races that are underrepresented, especially when it comes to issues that are faced by them. So I mean, I love this, and they are going to also establish another organization that's going to be responsible for funding South Africans and obviously trying to build the future for tomorrow, because obviously because of what has been happening, the drugs being brought into the country, a lot of South Africans, especially young men, are on drugs. So she's trying to combat that and trying to establish um, bursaries or ways for young South Africans to be more educated, right? So I love this so much, man. I've been saying this for the longest time that protesting is great, but it's not going to have the same impact because it's normal for energy to die down as far as protests go. But if we start holding the home affairs accountable, the president accountable, the police accountable, and we can only do that through courts, right? They can't call us barbarians when we are actually doing it the legal way. The Daily Maverick enjoys reporting horrible stories about South Africans. It feels like they are painting a propaganda of how South Africa, how horrible South Africa is. I can't recall a news article on the Daily Maverick that was positive about South Africa. It feels like they're trying to paint us to the world as hooligans, so that whenever anything happens to us, then it's justifiable. Oh, yeah, I mean, look at what they've been doing to everyone else. So I love what Jacinta is doing, and I hope she doesn't get compromised. Man, I hope South Africa rallies behind them. If they need funding, Kore, the little that we can, there's millions of us. So if we even if you have 10 rand or 50 rand, every person, let's say a million South Africans donate like 10 rand, that's like 10 million, and a court case that can cover multiple court cases, even including like to the Constitutional Court. So shout out to her, man. That's honestly powerful, and I'm 100% behind this particular movement because I've been saying this, and that's something I've always wanted to do, but I can always be a part of this particular movement because I've always wanted to be the voice for the voiceless, and I love the fact that her idea from marching has um, matured into basically going into the courts and doing it the right way, you know? Even though marching was the right way, but I mean, I think this is going to be a lot more effective. So shout out to her, man.